Hey, and today we are going to be working on the start of ray diagrams, which is basically a way of helping us visualize what's going on when we're talking about how images are formed using mirrors. So we're going to start with a concave mirror, which remember, these are, just write this down. Concave are the converging mirrors, meaning they have a positive focal point and they are going to actually focus the light. Um, and if you have more questions about this or whatever, our uh, office hours are a really great time to come in. I've got great ways to help visualize this, and all will be good. Now, if you're looking at page 8 in your notes, you're going to see a list of all of the different basically rules and regulations that you need to follow when doing your ray diagrams so that they come out correct. Okay, so they start with draw the primary axis with the proper mirror at the vertex. So I have mine drawn here. I've also you have printed ones there for you. And if you want to print that out, that's great. If you just want to copy it, that's fine. I'm going to do the copied one here. And then we're going to draw an object, which is just an upright arrow in the proper location. Okay, so I'm going to go with example 1, which is outside C. So remember, when we were talking about this, the focal point is basically where the light is actually going to focus. And if this is our vertex, here is our focal point, and here is our center of curvature. So if we're going to put in our object and it is outside C, okay, so we draw an arrow outside or further away from the vertex than C. Then what we're going to do is draw an incident ray, okay? And in order to do all of this, I am going to be using a straight edge, which for me will be my ruler. You can use any straight thing you have at hand. And the first incident ray is going to go into the mirror parallel to my primary axis. Okay, so I'm going to draw a sketch, make sure I put my arrow in there to indicate which way it's going. And then we're going to get a reflected ray. A reflected ray is going to bounce off of our mirror, and because it's concave, if it goes in diagonally, it's going to bounce off. I'm sorry, if it goes in horizontally, it's going to bounce off diagonally. So it'll bounce off here and go through the focal point. Okay, so I've got my reflected ray going that way. Then I'm going to draw a second incident ray. My second incident ray is going to connect the tip of the arrow, okay? Sorry, and it's going to connect the tip of the arrow and go through the focal point for the converging mirror. And since this is converging, it's going to go through the focal point this way. So I line it up, and it stops when it gets to the mirror because it's going to reflect or bounce off that mirror. Okay, so here's my second incident ray. And if it goes in diagonally, it's going to bounce out horizontally because of the law of reflection, like that, or the particular direction that we picked will bounce out horizontally. And if you notice, there's a point right here where our reflected rays meet. And that's going to be where the tip, because remember, these are coming from the tip of the arrow, my object. So that's going to be where the tip of the image is. And the image will always start at the primary axis and then go to, so the tip is where the lines of the reflected rays meet. So let's take a look at our image, okay? And let's think about what this is. So our image is located in front of the mirror, okay? In front, behind, right? Its orientation, the image here is inverted or upside down. The image type, let's go back and think about this. If you go back and relook at your notes, you're going to see that an inverted image will always be a real image. And now we need to know about its size. So you can, if you want to measure with your finger, you can, or I'm going to use a ruler here. My object is about 1/2 centimeter tall, and my image is definitely shorter than that. So it's going to end up a little bit shorter here. I would suggest that when you're doing this, you want to make I made my object fairly short. You kind of want to make it about half the height of the mirror. So I probably should have put it up a little bit. It's going to make seeing what the sizes are um, easier to do. So that is our concave mirror out with an object located outside C.